one good thing about dice problems, if there's any good thing about dice problems, is that, let's see, I'm trying to remember where the dice problem started, somewhere around in here. No, not yet. Not yet. There we go, there's a dice problem. The author is very nice in that he allows you to see the sample space in the body of the problem instead of having to try to figure out what happens when you have two dice that you roll. You do not have to memorize this. This will appear as a pop-up icon for you. You'll always be able to get to it because it sits right here. At least one of these problems on the homework set gives you the question, but doesn't give you that icon. And I think that that was an accident in programming. That means that someone didn't complete the programming, they left on Friday, came back on Monday and started on the next problem, just didn't finish this particular one. You might have to play hide and go seek on a homework exercise to go back to see that graphic if you can't remember what it looks like. If this happens to you on the test, and I know that there was one problem that did that on the test, and I keep asking it to be removed or fixed, but I don't know what's going to happen. So if that happens in there, I know that there's probably going to be at least two dice problem on the test, and you might have to play hide and go seek until you find the one that gives you the graphic to be able to do that. But here, it tells us if we roll two dice, here's the first die, here's the second die, so we can get a 1-1, which means we can get a total of 2, we can get totals of 3, we can get totals of 4, we can get totals of 5, etc., etc., etc. So it gives you the sample space, kind of like the card problems where they tell you how the deck of cards is broken up so that you don't have to try to remember all of that stuff. And now they want questions out of there. So in this particular case, if this were the problem we were working with, they want to know what's going to happen for us to get a sum of 7. If I want a sum of 7, that's a pretty easy problem to do because all I have to worry about is finding out where all the 7s are in that list. All the possible ways to be able to get a 7. It becomes a counting exercise. 6 out of the total 36 ways that we see on the list are going to satisfy our requirement. And then of course they would want us to reduce that to a fraction. So you can find that graphic if you need it. And you'll have probably on the homework exercise, you've probably got 4 or 5 questions that deal with that type of thing, okay? So in this particular case, I don't know that, well, I need some points here, so I'm gonna make this. Now remember that 6 out of 36, they're not gonna be happy with you because you didn't reduce the fraction. That's about all they give you. At least they do give you a statement that says, remember to reduce your fraction as much as possible. So we should have had here a value that would have been 1 out of 6 when we did our reduction problem in there. And they'll be happy with that. So if that's the case, then